fiery crash in Saskatoon, the truck that went up in flames during the morning commute. Safety concerns raised at Saskatchewan libraries, the calls for more community supports. And a special series by a Saskatchewan artist featured in Saskatoon.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a dramatic crash on Circle Drive that backed up traffic for hours this morning. A semi collided with a metal post before catching on fire. Kenan Sorokon has more on the fiery start to the day.
People heading to work on Saskatoon's busiest road Tuesday saw flames shooting to the sky. Just before 7 a.m., a semi veered into the center median on Circle Drive near Miller Avenue and collided with a metal pole. Brad Hutchinson drove past the truck moments after the crash when steam shooting from the truck quickly turned into a fireball.
You know, you don't get too many chances to see a truck burn to the ground.
Hutchinson saw a passing police officer pull over and help a bystander pull the driver to safety. Police later said they believe the driver had a medical event. It took firefighters an hour to put out the fire. After that, a crane and other crews had to move in to clear the wreckage and slice the large pieces of metal before moving on to clear the truck in the afternoon. The staff at O'Brien's Automotive had a front row seat to all of the work.
I've seen truck accidents before, but this was huge, man. Yeah, I can still see the diesel on the roads and stuff, and yeah, it's crazy, man.
With east and westbound traffic closed, vehicles were rerouted along Miller Avenue or on Venture Crescent. It took Rochelle Franklin over an hour to get to work at David's restaurant.
So far today, I've seen one person as opposed to my regulars that are not here.
The area was cleaned up just after 2:30 as a crash that won't soon be forgotten made for a slow day in the area.
It's crazy just how many people are caught in traffic for hours. Businesses are definitely affected by the lack of movement on Circle Drive.
Kenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Concern is being raised about complex community needs and the burden they are putting on library staff in Saskatchewan. As Hallie Mandrick explains, workers are increasingly seeing people looking for help as they struggle with addictions.
The union representing library staff across the province are raising concerns regarding safety in libraries.
Folks who are overdosing in their places of work. Many times our members do not feel safe going to and from their cars in the parking lot. There have been instances in the past where one of our members had to fight off an attempted abduction. An individual tried to put her in the trunk of his car.
Calling for an increase in funding to libraries in the upcoming provincial budget to help address safety issues and a long-term strategy to expand community supports. Peterson says many staff members are feeling overwhelmed, having to handle issues that are far outside of the job description.
They don't want to turn people in need away, but they are not addictions experts. They aren't security guards and they aren't mental health counselors. They shouldn't be experiencing what they are dealing with on a daily basis.
Libraries receive funding through both the province and municipalities in Saskatchewan. In a statement to CTV News, the province said, quote, "To address ongoing mental health and addictions challenges, the Ministry of Health is investing a record $624 million into mental health and addiction services across the province this fiscal year. Since 2007 and 2008, we've increased spending on addictions by over 272%. 2 complex needs facilities have been developed, one each in Regina and Saskatoon, with a third set to open in Prince Albert later this year. More than 4,800 clients have been admitted to the Regina and Saskatoon facilities, where they are connected to services that support longer-term recovery. The Saskatoon Public Library also told CTV, quote, "We have made a wide array of safety-related enhancements at our spaces in recent years that have had positive effects, and we are continually assessing how to keep our spaces as safe and welcoming." Peterson says the feeling of uncertainty among library staff continues to grow.
Those folks coming into the library because they have no other place to go. There aren't supports and services available for them. In other places outside of Saskatoon, we've had members lose fingers because of machete attacks, and the list goes on.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A heavy emergency response on the University Bridge yesterday afternoon. The fire department was called just after 5 o'clock for a person who was lying on the ice close to the open water. The rescue boat was deployed to allow firefighters to reach the patient. Crews were able to bring the person to shore, where paramedics with Medivie Health Services took them to hospital. A 41-year-old man has been charged after sentimental items, including a WWE Hall of Fame ring, were stolen from a professional wrestler. The ring and several pieces of jewelry belonging to professional wrestler Harry Smith, also known as Davey Boy Smith Jr., were taken after Canadian Wrestling's Elite trailer was broken into during a stop in Lloydminster last week. RCMP say the next day, officers recovered several items, including the ring, when a man tried to sell one of the stolen pieces. Some jewelry is still missing. Lloydminster RCMP have since charged Dayton Little Wolf with trafficking property obtained by crime over $5,000. RCMP say Little Wolf is known to police as a prolific offender. He is scheduled to appear in Alberta Provincial Court next Tuesday. Well, Jeff, today seemed okay, but tomorrow there's a little bit of a dip.
Yes, a little bit of a dip. We are going to be seeing colder than seasonal temperatures, colder than today. That's the big deal of the day. And it's going to be quite windy, so wind chill values will be nasty. And then the good news is that we start to warm up. And as we make our way into the weekend, things are getting significantly warmer, and it might actually be a little rainy in some places. I know, rain may be in the forecast. Is it for your area? We'll tell you later on.
The Saskatchewan NDP is demanding the provincial government support post-secondary institutions. Citing fewer international students, some in Saskatchewan are making staffing cuts. Sierra D'Souza butts on the provincial funding plan and why the opposition says it's not enough.
In addition to laying off 123 staff last year and 28 more this year, Sask Polytechnic is suspending its health information management program.
This minister has already failed the staff of Sask Poly, and he has failed the students. He should not make it worse. Will the minister commit to no more layoffs at Sask Poly?
The NDP says the job cuts are due to the lack of international students enrolled, asking the government of Saskatchewan to support its post-secondary institutions and prevent further layoffs.
They are not going to take more students. They're only going to finish the students they already have. If you're not having more students, if the faculty is gone, you cannot continue the program.
The Minister of Advanced Education says the issue is not unique to the province, since the federal government put a cap on the number of international students post-secondary institutions can bring in.
Tried to do in the House was put it in context of what's happening across the country. 17,000 layoffs in regional colleges and universities across the country because of the federal government decision to cap international students.
The government says it's committing $250 million to post-secondary institutions to cover the gap.
In Saskatchewan, we're going in the other direction. We have multi-year funding, an increase of 3% per year for our institutions for the next 4 years. That was announced in November, and it really set a precedent across the country.
Adding, the province plans to continue working with institutions to help strengthen their long-term financial sustainability, but at the end of the day, it's their decision on whether cuts are made. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
The government of Saskatchewan has announced that Ukrainian post-secondary students in the province will continue to receive tuition relief for the next 4 years. The extension allows those who arrive to the province under the Canada-Ukraine authorization for emergency travel to continue paying domestic tuition rates instead of international rates at post-secondary institutions in the province.
Honestly, it means a lot for me and the other students because we feel welcomed in this country, in this province. It's a big relief on finance for those families.
According to the government of Saskatchewan, over 35 students have benefited from the Ukrainian tuition relief program since its launch in 2023. Turning now to layoffs at Saskatoon tech firm Vendasta. CTV's Laura Woodward has more on how many jobs are affected and why.
Vendasta has confirmed layoffs at its Saskatoon office. The tech company says 20 employees, about 3% of its workforce, have been let go. Most of the jobs were in content creation. In a statement to CTV News, Vendasta says the software market is being reshaped by AI, and the cuts are part of its strategy to adapt and remain profitable.
3% doesn't sound like a lot, but those are 20 individuals, and in a community like ours where, everybody knows everybody. I think those ripples are felt are felt a bit broader.
Statistics Canada estimates about 60% of Canadian workers are in jobs highly exposed to AI-related transformation.
We're rather than resisting it, I think it is a matter of embracing it and sort of upskilling and trying to figure out, well, how can you use these new tools to do your job better?
And while AI can be a useful tool, Professor Nikola Gradojevic cautions companies of moving too fast.
So you can replace humans with AI, it's going to be much cheaper, but the problem is, will the quality of your service increase or deteriorate as a result?
He points to his own experience with bank chatbots, often ending up needing a human.
I'm very much in support of AI, and I've been working with AI for a long time, but we need to introduce it step by step. We cannot have huge leaps. It's too much hype, and when I see too much hype, I become suspicious.
Laurel Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Despite a travel advisory remaining in effect for Mexico, Saskatchewan travelers are still going ahead with planned trips to the country. The advisory was put into place after drug cartels launched violent attacks in response to the military killing of a cartel kingpin. CAA says there was a brief pause in bookings to Mexico last week, a couple of days. Flights resumed a few days after the attacks, but the Government of Canada is still advising people to use extreme caution and avoid non-essential travel. CAA says with the deep freeze temperatures at home, the draw of the sun and sand lingers for Saskatchewan travelers, but adds there won't be any last-minute deals linked to last week's events.
We want to get out of 40 below to go to 25 to 35 above, right? I mean, we like the beach, we like the sun, we like the food, and we love the people.
CAA says global uncertainty is nothing new for the travel industry, from the pandemic to conflicts in the Middle East and the war between Russia and Ukraine. Kazis says bookings may dip briefly, but travelers tend to return quickly. Saskatoon is being encouraged to once again watch for a seasonal visitor to our city. The annual Pelican Watch contest put on by the Meewasin Valley Authority has returned for another year. Between now and March 31st, people are invited to guess the date and time the first pelican will touch down between the CPR Bridge and the Weir. The contest offers up prizes and has been running since 1996. Meewasin says the earliest arrival on record is April 2nd at 6:25. The latest was April 21st at 11:48 a.m. Still to come, the latest on the attack on Iran. Also, the attack, the counter, and what Donald Trump is saying about his plan. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Strikes escalated again today across the Middle East, with the U.S. and Israel launching a fresh wave of attacks on Iran. Israel and U.S. allies in the Gulf also faced a barrage of retaliatory attacks from Iran. Meantime, Iranians are fleeing to safe zones like Turkey, which is where we find Adrian Gobriel in Istanbul with an overview of what happened today.
As the sun sets on day 4 of this war, the scale and scope is painfully coming into focus. South of Tehran, Israel struck this compound today, belonging to the group responsible for electing Iran's next supreme leader. Throughout the night and into the day, Israeli forces have also been targeting Iranian-backed Hezbollah positions across Lebanon. The Red Crescent says that more than 780 have died in Iran since the fighting began on Saturday, with the single biggest loss of life taking place here at this girls' school. Neither Israel nor the U.S. have claimed responsibility, though nearby fresh grave sites have been dug to bury dozens of children. The president of the Red Crescent in Iran saying that more than 168 children, aged 7, 8, and 9, were martyred.
The fear, the panic, the anxiety experienced by millions of people in the Middle East and beyond is palpable, and was entirely avoidable.
11 countries across the region have been on the receiving end of airstrikes fired by Iran since the fighting began. Following an Iranian attack in Saudi Arabia, the U.S. have shuttered embassies in Riyadh, Kuwait, and Beirut. With Tehran under a daily, deadly bombardment, thousands of Iranians are trying to flee to neighboring countries.
Turkey is home to more than 120,000 Iranians, with many residing right here in Istanbul's historic quarter. Foreign nationals we spoke with at cafes in this neighborhood declined to speak on camera, still fearful of the reach of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard and anti-Iranian sentiment here in this country.
So celebrations in your house last night?
Halit Yinajeh's wife is Iranian. The couple have been waiting for the decimation of the Islamic regime.
Islamic regime, for Persian people, we are happy, really happy. Devil's times finish.
Halit, what is your hope for the future?
We want good election, good rules election, and secular system for Iran.
As the flames of war fan out of control any semblance of peace in the Middle East, at this hour remains a distant hope.
Tonight, U.S. Central Command say they've hit 1,700 targets since their joint operation with Israel began. With Iran hitting back, this entire region has been thrown into a state of chaos. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Istanbul.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump claims Iran's air defenses, the Air Force, Navy, and leadership are gone. On a day he briefed Germany's chancellor, U.S. lawmakers, and the media, the president gave his reasoning for waging war. With more on that, here is Joy Malbon in Washington.
But Ukraine has in the Oval Office, the U.S. president says he just had a feeling that Iran was going to strike, but denies he was pulled into this war by Israel.
I might have forced their hand. You see, we were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first.
Contradicting his own Secretary of State, Marco Rubio.
We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces.
The president who promised no more wars portrays this one as necessary to eliminate Iran's nuclear threat once and for all, destroying their naval and missile capabilities. And Trump says they knocked out Iran's radar defenses, hitting 1,700 targets so far.
We're hitting them very hard, and the big scale hitting goes now. They no longer have air protection. They no longer have any detection facilities at all left, and so they're gonna be in for a lot of hurt.
After wiping out Iran's top leadership, Trump has called for Iranians to rise up and take over their own country. And yes, Trump has thoughts about who he'd like to take over. The late Iran Shah's son, not his first choice.
I guess the worst case would be we do this and then somebody takes over who's as bad as the previous person, right? That could happen. I would like to see somebody in there that's going to bring it back for the people.
The president lashed out at Spain and the UK for their initial response to his war.
But this is not the age of Churchill. I will say the UK has been very, very uncooperative.
And as America's war widens, already claiming U.S. soldiers' lives, lawmakers question the legal basis for Trump's war and will try to force a vote to limit the president's war powers. Joy Malbon, CTV News, Washington.
BC's chief coroner announced an inquest into the mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge last month. He is seeking answers to prevent another tragedy and will examine access to mental health support and the role of artificial intelligence. Judy Trin now on the inquiry and what needs to change.
The BC coroner's inquest is aimed at answering how the Tumbler Ridge tragedy could have happened, beginning with access to mental health supports in rural communities,
including broader issues of community awareness, education and support, and matters relating to gender diversity where relevant to the evidence.
The shooter, Jessie Van Rutselaar, was transitioning. She killed her mother and a half-brother at home, then 6 more people at a school before taking her own life. The inquest will also examine the police response, why firearms were returned to the home even though Van Rutselaar had been previously apprehended under the Mental Health Act.
We will look at the weapons and how they were obtained.
The shooter's use of artificial intelligence will also be scrutinized. The developer of ChatGPT suspended Van Rutselaar's account for abuse, but OpenAI did not notify police until after the mass shooting. What do you have to say to the victims of Tumbler Ridge? Top safety officials provided insufficient information when they were summoned to Ottawa last week. Now the Minister of AI will seek answers from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman directly.
I want to know what changes they're going to make specifically to protect Canadians. My job
Our government's job is to make sure that Canadians are safe. These AI chatbots pose new challenges to us.
The minister will meet with OpenAI CEO on Wednesday. The government could end up regulating chatbots. As for the inquest, it won't take place until after the RCMP complete their investigation. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Most people in BC won't have to change their clocks anymore after Sunday. BC has announced a permanent change to daylight time. Premier David Eby pointed to schedule disruptions, safety and loss of sleep as some of the reasons behind the shift. In 2019, the BC government tabled legislation to make daylight time permanent. At the time, the province said the move can't be made until western states like Washington and California do it as well. But Premier Eby said he got tired of waiting. This also means BC will call the new time zone Pacific time instead of Pacific Standard or Daylight Time. American singer and actress Noah Cyrus is set to headline the last day of the Sask Jazzfest this summer.
Guess that's why I stay the same.
Cyrus will take to the stage at 9 p.m. on July 11th. The Grammy-nominated artist is also the younger sister of Miley Cyrus. It's the second of 3 ticketed dates to be revealed for the annual festival, which runs July 5th to 11th at Victoria Park. This year, the festival introduced a tiered ticket pricing structure, which it says has already shown success since kicking off last week. Sask Jazzfest will announce the remaining headliners on Friday.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl. Larry Krause here, and I'm really pleased to tell you that we've rescheduled the Classic Country Music Reunion Show. We're holding it on March 4th and 5th at the Prince Albert Wildlife Federation Banquet and Event Center. Show gets going at 7:30 in the evening. Tickets are $25 and they're available at the door. Audrey Newber, Elmer Lamity, and John Quinn are going to be joining me with them old tunes backed up by Gary Larson and David Sinclair. You're going to want to take this in. There's going to be spud nuts. Hey Jeff, the weather kind of threw us a curve last go around. How are we doing this time?
I think you're going to be happy with the weather, Larry, because it looks as though even though tomorrow, which is your opening night, is going to be on the cold side, it's certainly going to warm up as we make our way to Thursday. But let's take a look at tomorrow's situation. As you can see, minus 17, cloudy skies. 7:30 is showtime tomorrow night. And again, as I said, there's also a show on Thursday, and it all takes place at the Prince Albert Wildlife Banquet and Event Center. So you've got that to look forward to in terms of the music, and the weather's not so bad. Minus 12 right now in Saskatoon. Prince Albert, it's been snowing. It's been a snowy couple of days in the sense that the snow showed up yesterday evening. Minus 12 degrees for Prince Albert and minus 11 in the Battlefords. And as you can see, a lot windier in Saskatoon and Prince Albert than it is in the Battlefords. And these winds are going to get stronger right across the province. We'll talk about that later on. Let's take a look at Saskatoon's almanac. A daytime high of minus 9 degrees. Typically, we should be at minus 5, so 4 degrees below seasonal. 11 degrees, the record the temperature record set in 1905. The record cold temperature minus 37 in 1917, and the sun's going to go down to 6:48.
Coming up, a major goal later in life. The Saskatchewan resident shooting for a world record.
Calling all musicians, it is tryout time. Wednesday on your morning, the Ryder Pep Band is gearing up for the 2026 season, and they are looking to add to their roster.
Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got going on through the live lens of Skycam. And as you can see, cloudy skies right now. We expect it to be cloudy as we roll into tomorrow as well, but there is going to definitely be some strong winds you will have to contend with. So that's how things are shaping up for tomorrow. Let's take a look at our satellite and our weather right now, at least in terms of the wind for tomorrow. But let's take a look at the here and now on our satellite and radar shot here. We're expecting, if you're heading out to BC for the weekend, an atmospheric river is on the way, so it's going to be a rainy weekend in British Columbia. But across the prairies, this second system, we talked about the couple of systems coming through. The second one making its way through. And yes, it is impacting the Prince Albert area and some points north, not right across the province, but certainly there is snow to be dealt with in the Prince Albert region. Still snowing at minus 12 degrees, minus 12 as well in Saskatoon, minus 11 in the Battlefords. Our hotspot for today, that was Coronach at 11 degrees and 55 degrees colder. Collins Bay at minus 44. There are still extreme cold warnings in effect for parts of northern Saskatchewan, by the way. Minus 15 in Lloydminster right now, minus 6 in Swift Current, minus 1 in Moose Jaw, minus 2 in Estevan, minus 4 in the Queen City, minus 9 in Yorkton. Into central Saskatchewan, parts of the northern grain belt, temperatures ranging 10 degrees from minus 6 in Kindersley down to minus 16, and that is in Waskesiu and Meadow Lake. It's minus 11 in Hudson Bay. Up north, quite cold again, minus 29 degrees in Stony Rapids and Collins Bay, and getting colder, minus 27 in Key Lake, minus 17 though in La Ronge and Sandy Bay Island Falls. Down south on the plus side in many locations, particularly in southwestern and south central Saskatchewan, 6 degrees in East End, 5 in Coronach, 4 in Assiniboia, 7 in Maple Creek. And as we slide towards the eastern side of the province, temperatures do drop off. It's minus 9 right now in Melville, not bad at minus 2 in Carlisle. Our futurecast indicating, yes, the snow sort of rings itself out, but look at those pressure lines getting closer and closer together. So yes, windy conditions, and just keep your eye on the southwestern part of the province. There could be a risk of some freezing rain and snow, so rain snow mixed. It could be a messy situation as we make our way into tomorrow afternoon and the early part of the evening. So please be aware of that and check the highway hotline. Here are the areas of the prairie provinces and parts of the Northwest Territories that are under extreme cold warnings right now. We've got ourselves minus 20 degrees for La Ronge tomorrow, minus 24 for Stony Rapids, minus 18 in Buffalo Narrows, and minus 22 in Key Lake. Temperatures of around minus 16 for Meadow Lake and Spiritwood, minus 8 for Kindersley, and minus 9 for Rosetown. Lots of clouds in the province tomorrow. 4 on the plus side for Maple Creek, minus 4 for Leader, minus 10 for Outlook, and minus 1 for Swift Current. For Regina, we've got ourselves minus 9 for a high, minus 7 in Moose Jaw, minus 6 in Estevan, but minus 14 in Yorkton. And temperatures in the mid to high minus teens in east central Saskatchewan under cloudy skies. Minus 16 overnight for the Battlefords with a chance of flurries and windy conditions. And the winds back off a little bit tomorrow. Still breezy though, minus 15 degrees, but minus 8, so close to seasonal on Thursday with a chance of flurries. And then on the plus side for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, expect a windy Saturday to go along with that temperature of 6 degrees. 2 to 4 centimeters of snow when all is said and done in Prince Albert. Windy conditions. There could be some visibility issues, so please take that into account. Minus 11 with flurries expected on Thursday. Friday, 0 degrees. Saturday, 5 degrees. And 0 on Sunday with a 40% chance of flurries. In Saskatoon, snowy, well, 30% chance of flurries, but windy conditions are certainly there, and those winds stick around tomorrow. And as we make our way towards Thursday, minus 9 degrees, still below seasonal, but manageable. But then on the plus side for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, starting off your work week at minus 4. Justin Timberlake is suing to block the release of police body camera footage from his drunk driving arrest in New York's Hamptons in 2024. The pop star's lawyers argued in a lawsuit filed yesterday that the release of the video would devastate Timberlake's privacy and cause severe and irreparable harm to his reputation. A lawyer for Sag Harbor said a judge didn't immediately rule following a court hearing. Timberlake was arrested in June 2024 after Sag Harbor police said he ran a stop sign, veered out of his lane, and got out of his BMW smelling of alcohol. He ultimately pleaded guilty to a lesser charge. Jim Carrey made a rare public appearance to receive this year's honorary award at the 51st edition of France's César Awards in France. He delivered his speech entirely in French and then apologized for his unpolished French-speaking skills. Following his appearance, the internet exploded with a debate over his new appearance and whether it was actually Jim Carrey receiving the award. But experts say Carrey's change in appearance makes sense, given his time away from cameras, his age, and his lifestyle. Now that's not the only place they'll be running to. The Guess Who is taking its cross-country tour south of the border. For the first time in more than 20 years, the band that wrote American Woman will be touring America itself. They've added 20 U.S. dates to their Canadian tour starting on June 25th in Minneapolis. The Winnipeg concert at Canada Life Centre takes place on June 5th. Last year, Cummings and Bachman received the rights to the Guess Who trademark after settling a lawsuit with former members Jim Cale and Gary Peterson.
I understand you were out in search of fine art earlier today.
Yes, but I might have to wait a few weeks. Say, are you looking for some art to adorn your home or your office or someplace else? Well, there's a very special event coming up that can help out in that regard. And Deborah is with us today along with Vicky, and we're talking about the Heartworks art auctions coming up on the 27th of March. So, Vicky, what's that about?
We're having our second annual Heartworks event. It's going to be a live auction, silent auction, and marketplace items available for sale with live entertainment and live artists painting art during the event, and also music.
Well, you can't go wrong with art and music and festivities like that. Deborah, it's in support of the Saskatoon Food Bank and Learning Centre. How important are events like this?
Events like this are really keep us going. You know, the support from the community, people stepping up to buy tickets, to come and purchase a beautiful piece of art, goes directly back into helping those who need it most.
Fair enough. So, Vicky, how do people get those tickets?
There's a website, foodbank.org, and there is Heartworks 2026 online. If you just key it in, Google will take you there.
All right, so Google always takes you where you want to go, sort of. Anyhow, once again, March 27th, right here at TCU Place, the Heartworks event is going on for the second time. So thank you both.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, time for Pick of the Day. Any bonus photos today?
No bonus photos today. Today we're just sticking with the usual 3-pack. So let's start off with this one. This one comes to us from Ron Edinger, and we're told Ron was driving by the Mosaic Potash Mine at Kalonzi and thought it was a stunning sight to see the clear white smoke rise against the clear blue sky. Well, it certainly is a stark contrast there. So thank you, Ron, for sharing that image. And as well, Jean Paulus sends this one. We haven't had one from Jean for a while. And this is from about 10 days ago, by the way. Jean tells us this is the view over the North Battleford Comprehensive High School. So yes, a lovely sky, but we are blessed with lovely skies here. So thank you, Jean. And finally from Janet, hi, Jeff. I'm happy for these winter days. Thanks, from Sammy. Does Sammy, I think I detect some sarcasm there. And by the way, you can't see the complete thing there, but by the way, you can. There is a framed photo, I believe, of D.D. Lewis of the Dallas Cowboys just behind Sammy there. So for the fans who were wondering, I know I was. And if you'd like to share us an image, send us an image, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put Pick of the Day in the subject line. It helps us when we're going through all of our emails.
Still to come on CTV News, a man who isn't letting age slow him down, what he's hoping to score that could go down in the record books. A Saskatchewan basketball official is attempting to write his name in the history books, not because of the game he's working, but because of his age. Donovan Mace has the story of a man trying to set the world record of oldest active referee.
In this Regina gym, an elementary girls basketball game has become one part of a potential Guinness World Record, but not due to the performance of any player. Aptly known as Big Mike, Michael Martirana runs up and down the floor at the spry age of 80 as he attempts to be the oldest active basketball official in the world.
I love basketball, and that's what it is.
Growing up on the streets of the Bronx, New York, basketball has been in Martirana's life for more than 7 decades.
We played almost every day.
He continued to hoop well into his 50s.
That's a good call. You're making a
foul in number 11.
As a former teacher and high school coach, he didn't start his career as a referee until almost his 60s.
I never liked referees at all. at all. I didn't like them. I thought they were unfair, unjust, didn't know what they were doing. But when I became one, I became more appreciative of the job that they do.
Attempting the world record, his daughter's idea.
And she said, "Dad, how are your knees?" I said, "They're okay. I've had 2 knee surgeries, replacements, right? And your legs?" I go, "Yeah, still fairly strong."
To earn the title, he has had to confirm his age with Guinness and provide proof he is working official games through game sheets and video.
The last requirement they said to me was, "We want you to do 1 game a month with the basketball for the entire basketball season. That's all, 1 game a month." Easy peasy, I can do that.
The job is a labor of love for the veteran official. He's quick to offer advice and encouragement in-game to the young players.
If there was, 3 seconds in the key, he tells them what they did, and he takes the time to help the kids learn and grow.
Those are fouls?
These are fouls. No.
And now finds the most joy in mentoring younger referees like JL.
I don't think anyone would be able to beat his record for a long time, so I think he's a one-of-a-kind kind of ref.
Passing along his decades of knowledge to the next generation.
This helps somebody. This helps people, kids, especially the kids. I really care about them becoming better.
And 1 month out from his 81st birthday, Martirana has no plans to hang up the whistle anytime soon.
And someone said to me, "Well, if you get the Guinness Book of World Records and next year you come back and you do it, you can break your own record." I never thought about that. I didn't think about it in those terms. I said, well, I'll just keep doing it as long as I can do it.
Donovan Mays, CTV News, Regina.
When we come back, we meet the artist behind a series of pieces on display in Saskatoon, and later the wide load on the move in our province.
All right, welcome back. We'll take a look at our rural forecast for Wednesday. And as you can see, it's manageable once we get south of the Yellowhead, or at least a little farther south of the Yellowhead. But once we're up north, temperatures are certainly way below seasonal. -15 for Lloydminster and Meadow Lake, -17 in Spiritwood and Melfort and Hudson Bay, -13 in Watrous, -14 in Wynyard. And then as we make our way down south, well, it's certainly a big change here. Down on the southwestern part of the province, temperatures on the plus side for many locations, -3 in Assiniboia, 1 in Coronach, -9 in Carlisle, -15 in Kenora. And then as we take a look a little closer at Central Butte, pretty pleasant in that respect. Slightly, basically a seasonal temperature, -4 degrees for Central Butte tomorrow. Cloudy skies, and the winds not as strong as they are in other parts of the province. Still kind of breezy. By the way, the figure skating Club Carnival is coming up on Sunday, March 15th in Central Butte. And Central Butte as well is one of those places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Many Indigenous tribes throughout North America have stories describing how the world came to be. These are known as creation stories. During the Kona Festival at Waniskewan Heritage Park, an art exhibit was unveiled exploring the Indigenous worldview about how humans and the world were made. CTV's Hallie Mandrick tells us more.
A series of Cree creation stories are currently being showcased on the walls of Waniskewan's Olivia Gallery.
My inspiration kind of came to me as I started painting. The gallery is called From the Beginning, so it's kind of paying homage to the beginning of a new year, but also just realizing where I am with my full-time art and kind of taking the plunge and going for it.
From the Beginning features the work of Chris Japak, a Saskatchewan-born artist who is currently serving as an artist in residence at Waniskewan. Japak has previously worked on a number of projects, including designing the Indigenous logos for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the Saskatoon Blades, and Husky Athletics.
I kind of focused on my skill to storytell. I take a lot of pride in it, and I've gone through a lot of collaborations with companies and organizations, so to finally tell my own stories, it was nice.
While Chapak's artwork is the star of the show, a lot of behind-the-scenes work is also done to help his pieces shine.
So I will bring in audio people, I will bring in lighting people, I will get everything hung, I will situate everything in such a way that kind of just pops to the viewer. So Chris's job is to make fantastic artwork, and my job is to make sure that artwork looks fantastic on the walls.
Robtai says the process of curating a gallery takes a lot of patience, but seeing the final result makes it well worthwhile.
Oh, you get goosebumps. There is an audio track that we're playing with it, and it sounds fantastic. There is an audio element, there is a visual element. You get goosebumps.
Japak says he's hopeful those who visit the gallery will leave with a similar feeling.
I kind of feel that people can take away the nature of this, that we're all connected, that, you know, that we're not just standing on land, we're connected with the land.
From the beginning will be on display at Wanuskewin until May 17th for anyone passing through the visitor center to enjoy. For Indigenous Circle, I'm Hallie Mandrick.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
The first new tenant for the old Prince Albert Pulp Mill has been announced. BMI Group, the new owners of the mill, signed a memorandum of understanding with Michigan-based Plum Gas Solutions to pursue the development of a compressed natural gas. The plan would use an existing natural gas pipeline on the property, adding a new connection for a high-capacity CNG fill station. The project aims to supply fuel to nearby industrial and mining operations. As Scott Moe continues his trip to India, Saskatchewan is exploring the creation of a Canada-India Pulse Protein Centre. The Premier said it's an opportunity to bring Saskatchewan's knowledge on crops like lentils, chickpeas, peas and beans to India's agri-food sector. More than 80% of pulses exported from Canada to India come from Saskatchewan, feeding hundreds of millions of people every day. The centre will be developed by the University of Saskatchewan and the National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management in India. North American markets tanked today with investors worried about the Middle East war. Morella Fernandez with that.
Those concerns sent the TSX tumbling this morning. At one point, it was down about 1,400 points. Gold and silver stocks sold off, dragging the TSX down. But the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ were also in the red. Now, the TSX did recover later in the day. Oil continued to gain since the attacks on Iran have paralyzed the movement of oil in the Middle East. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar down a fraction to 73.15. West Texas Intermediate up over $3 to 74.56. Western Canadian Select up almost $5 to 57.72. And the TSX ended the day down 756 points. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon currently $1.36.6 a litre. The lowest price in town, $1.24.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco dropped $10.89, and Nutrien finished the day at $101.68. Coming up, wide load ahead, the journey tracking through the southern part of the province. Then the stuffy that is flying off store shelves and the reason behind it.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Get comfortable and settle in with these top shows all right here tonight on CTV. Well, it was quite the sight on a highway in southern Saskatchewan. Today, a home and garage made the first leg of a nearly 200-kilometer journey today. It left the Lejourd area and is on its way to the Strasbourg area. Crews are having to adjust power lines along the way to allow the convoy to pass through. The trek is expected to take 3 days, and you can track its movements on the highway hotline in case you're going to be kind of traveling around the southern Saskatchewan area.
That is wild.
That is. That's a big job.
No kidding.
Yeah. At least the weather's decent.
Well, yes.
So far.
It's going to be a windy day tomorrow, so I don't know how that's going to impact moving a big structure like that. But there you go.
Well, we'll keep you posted. Well, the world's most viral monkey is leading to a surge in sales of a very specific item. By now, you've likely heard of Punch, a 6-month-old monkey abandoned by his mother at birth. Instead, Punch became very attached to a plushy orangutan. Now, that same plushie is flying off shelves as IKEA struggles to keep it in stock. The company even launching a marketing campaign with the slogan, "Sometimes family is who we find along the way." And in Malaysia, it's donating a portion of sales to orangutan conservation. So
nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
There you go.
There's like a
King
little
Louis,
stuffy like
the Jungle Book. Anyhow.
Yes, anyhow.
Well, he's a great character. Anyhow, let's take a look at the weather. He's a fantastic character. Louis Prima did the voice. Anyhow,
So
minus
is Curious
16.
George.
It's windy. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy.
Yeah.
I'm the king
We're
of
gonna
the
forget about
swingers
it.
of the jungle.
Thanks for watching.